You know, lately I've been thinking a lot about this space between love and sex and how we're told they should overlap and how much of guilt or shame comes when they don't. And for me, I'll be honest, it's still a bit confusing. I grew up believing that a good relationship meant one person for everything: love, intimacy, sex, security. But the more conversations I have, the more I realize that for many people, that's just not the whole story. And I'll admit, part of me is still figuring out how I feel about it. I mean, can you have a deeply loving relationship and still seek sexual connection elsewhere? And can those things truly live separately? And also, what happens if they need to? Well, today I'm speaking to someone whose life and relationship challenges almost every traditional idea about love and monogamy. Someone who's been through a journey that I think will both surprise and maybe even teach us. My incredible friend, Gus. Gus is a gay man who grew up in Brazil. From his early sexual experiences that shaped how he viewed intimacy, to his kinks now, his desires, Gus's experience of sex and relationships live in two separate worlds. And although he never wanted a relationship, life led him to a marriage that is loving, committed, but also open.
Like he would turn me on to know that he's like having sex with other people. I think that it's like, okay, if the only reason he's with me is because he hasn't had the exposure to other people, for me that's not good enough.
Gus has been with his husband for 7 years. They're deeply connected, but they don't have sex with each other. And yet, they consider their relationship stronger because of it. It's a story that raises uncomfortable questions, but also liberating ones about desire, honesty, and what it really means to build a relationship around who we are rather than who we are expected to be. I'm Sahar, a journalist on a quest to understand the world through the lens of how people do sex. Before we get started, you'll notice that you can't see Gus's face. It's because of how personal and sensitive some of the things we're going to talk about are. He's chosen to stay anonymous, and I respect that. If anything, I think it'll allow him to share his story with more honesty and openness. Hi, Gus.
Hi, Sahar.
Okay, first question, which is normally a question I ask you when we meet anyway, because it always leads to some crazy story. Tell me about the last time you had sex.
It was a couple of weeks ago, actually, maybe like 10 days ago. Random.
That long?
Yeah, the
You're usually a lot more sexually active.
I am, but I live in in a place right now that it's not my type of guys, if that makes sense.
Why?
Because I live in Asia and I'm not extremely attracted to Asian guys.
Fair enough. I mean, you always say your type is.
My type is
I'll let you say it because I might sound racist if I say it.
manly and like big, as in tall and heavy. And it's if you're over 6 foot and you have a beard and a hairy chest, I'm game. I'm I'm ready. So and that's quite hard to find where I am. So yeah, so it's been about 10 days. Was a random guy that I was chatting with for quite a long time. Surprisingly Asian and surprisingly tall and hairy, which was a very welcome surprise. It was good fun. Yeah.
Has it been really hard that so I'm still really angry that you left me in London and have moved to Hong Kong. It's a grudge that I am still holding on to very strongly. Tell me about some of the struggles you've had dating in Hong Kong, especially because you were telling me the expat community is really small there, isn't
It
it?
is.
Isn't it?
It's a bit of a bubble, a lot more than it is in London or New York or anywhere else really. The and everybody that I know, we already have friends in common, which never happened in London. So the struggles in when it comes to, I wouldn't call it dating, by the way. fucking. Can I say fucking? The struggles when it comes to the sex part of it is that most guys are not really my type, right? I'm a lot of guys' type here, which is quite nice. To like, it's great for my ego because you go on Grinder and a million people are messaging you, but they're like 5 foot tall bottoms, and I'm a 6 foot 5 like bottom myself, right? So I have no interest on that. That's problem number one. And then the ones that do, right, like the that tend to be the expats, are I'm too scared of having just casual sex with them because chances are I will end up hanging out with them, or they'll come to a house party that I'm throwing or whatever. And I usually like to keep my social life and my sex life very far away from each other.
Really? Why? Why would that be so bad if one of those people also ended up coming to your house party?
I feel like I'm quite submissive sexually speaking, and I'm not at all in my social life. So it's like it's a completely
Mm-mm.
different gus that you get if you get to fuck me, or a gus that you get if you come to my house. And I quite like the no strings attached thing. I don't like the whole like, oh, having a chat after sex. Like I'm very cold when it comes to sex. It's a transaction, you know what I mean? Like you're here to have sex with me, and then it's like I'll pretend like I don't know you if I see you on the street. So it's more out of respect for my partner, right? My
Your husband?
yeah, my husband is not like he wouldn't be thrilled with knowing that some random people that came to our house socially have already been here before to have sex with me. You know what I mean? Like so I try to
I don't, because he already knows. You guys are open. You guys tell each other that,
yeah, but it's like we
it's
are
no
open, but
secret.
I try not to rub it in his face. You know what I mean? Like there's
Oh,
no lying, but it's like I don't tell him every time I have sex with someone because it's like it's not it doesn't for one it doesn't turn him on, right? So if it did it would be amazing, I would love it. But it's like it doesn't turn him on. There's nothing really good coming from it. He's not a jealous person, but it is a bit of a step too far in the dynamics that I like to keep my open relationship, right? So it's like it's completely
mm,
separate. One of the rules we have is like you can't do it with friends. So it's like it's almost like a self-imposed rule. I don't want to be friends with someone that I had sex. So it works the other way around as well. Oh, just keep it
okay.
completely separate.
I mean, you're literally the queen, the king, the god of keeping things separate. I've never seen
Oh, it's
anyone
for me
like you who can just,
it's just a transaction. Like honestly, it's just like going to the gym. You know what I mean? Like it's it like I don't see it as a social thing at all. Like they're not my friends, they're not my crushes, they're not anyone. They're the glorified wank.
sometimes I feel like I shouldn't laugh at certain things you say because like obviously you're opening up and it's not that I'm laughing at you, it's
No,
not that it's
that's
funny, it's
fine.
that
Laugh away.
some of the things you say are always so counterintuitive and you put them so eloquently.
It's I've had
Glorified man.
I always enjoyed talking about sex, and it's like it's important to know that if I weren't married, and if I weren't trying to protect my husband's kind of like privacy, I would have absolutely no issues showing my face. So I'm the kind of guy that it's like, oh, you give me a few drinks. I'm always the one that at the end of the party I'll be like, okay, guys, what's your favorite sexual position? Right? Like the
Yep.
have you done anal before? Like the so I find it a very non-taboo topic, and I love talking
Yeah.
about it, and I am quite proud of the fact that I'm so sex positive. But it's not a pillar of my. I wouldn't say it's like a personality trait. Like I think it's more of like a physiological thing, maybe.
What do you mean?
I do think that it's like there's something up with like my hormones or whatever. Like I always explain promiscuity in the gay world, going back to kind of like biology, right? Like I've always said this since I was a kid. When you think about it, every mammal, well, maybe not every, but it's like every single one that I can think of, they were made to basically fuck every hole they can find and spread their seed in the hopes of conceiving an offspring. And when it comes to the females, they're usually kind of like waiting for the best partner, right? So the and I do think that humans are not that different. The reason that in heterosexual relationships, chances are men cheat more than women is because of that, right? You're hardwired to basically spread your seed. And then when you get two individuals that are the same, right? Like two men, all hell breaks loose, right? So that's why gays are known for being quite promiscuous, and that is true, right? I would say that at least 99% of any gay man in their 20s has had sex with at least 10 more people than a straight female at the same age.
Mm.
So
But it's interesting you say that, and I've definitely seen it. Like I've never seen anything as much as my gay friends when it comes to sexuality. Like I've got loads of lesbian friends, I've got bi friends, I've got like lots of heterosexual friends, straight friends. Like gay men, their view towards sex, generally speaking, is exactly what you said. It's just very open, it's quite separate. They're able to separate emotions and they have so much sex. I'm so jealous of that in so many ways. Like in any situation, it can just happen. But at the same time, like your husband isn't like that. I mean, one of the reasons I know you guys are in an open relationship is because I think he said to me once he could almost be asexual because he's not that horny. He doesn't want to have as much sex with anyone.
he's the exception to the rule, I would say, right? It's hard to find it's hard to find men that are not like desperate for sex all the time. And I I think both me and him are like at the opposite ends of the same spectrum. I do think I'm a lot more sexual than I wish I were, in a way, right? It takes a lot of
And you wish you
time.
were less
A
sexual.
hundred percent. 100%. Because it's as much
Why?
as I'd
You
like
love it.
it takes too much of my time looking for sex or organizing the logistics of a sexual encounter with someone that you don't live with. That takes a lot of time and effort. So if it's something that I could like tone it down myself, I 100% would.
But it's weird that you went and found him
Mm,
and decided to marry him. Why not just marry someone who matches your sexuality?
that's a very good question. I would say the main reason for me to kind of like accept the compromise is that it's of all the facets of a healthy, happy relationship. I think that the easiest one to find is sex, right? So it's like the
Mm.
trust, companionship, how comfortable you are in silence, all of these kind of parts of a relationship, for me at least, have always been a lot harder to find. And when we started, we were kind of like, wouldn't say on the same page. I was hornier than he was, but the honeymoon period wasn't as sex free as it is now, right?
Mm.
So we were having a bit of sex. It wasn't quite enough for me, but it wasn't so bad that I wanted an open relationship, blah blah blah. So by the time we realized that it's like, oh shit, our sex thing is actually an issue, every other aspect of the relationship was perfect. For me, the only thing that I needed wasn't to have sex with the person I love, was to just have a fuck every now and then. And then that was it. Let's open a relationship. And then everything else continued being great. And then the only issue was ticked off. But again, Sahar, don't get me wrong. Like, if I could change anything right now, oh my God, it would save me so much time if I could just have
Mm.
sex with him.
Yeah, yeah, you've said that, and I know that like this has been something that has been on your mind, but at the same time, I've seen you guys together. You're so in love. You're not like just best friends, but you're just so like seeing you together the way you are, kind of an idyllic relationship, at least from the outside. You guys like finish each other's sentences. You have fun together. You just like you're just perfect. You're like two
and
peas in a
and
pod.
I feel exactly the same way. Like the we are two peas in a pod. I feel like we're perfect together. But the sex is not a thing, right? Like we're not compatible. And it's like the every couple has issues. Some might not be compatible because of, I don't know, money, or because one is more attached to family than the other one is, or so on, blah blah blah. One likes partying more than the other. I just happen to like sex more than he does.
Yeah. When was the last time you guys had sex?
Like sex, as in like dick in ass sort of sex. Oh my god. Apart from like a couple random threesomes that were very unsuccessful, like sex, just me and him, like, oh my god, let's have sex. This was in 2019, I want to say. So yeah, like 6 years
So like
ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah,
And you've been married for
three. So we got married
three
way
years.
after we opened the relationship.
So you met 7 years ago,
Hmm.
and the last time you had sex was a year into your relationship 6 years
Pretty
ago.
much, yeah.
And you tried a couple of threesomes that didn't really work. Why were they
Not
unsuccessful?
unsuccessful. It's just not like I know that he was kind of like there just to make me happy, and then I wouldn't stop thinking about it, right? Like the
The guilt.
not I wouldn't say guilt, but like it's like I don't know. The last one we had was in Thailand a couple months ago, and it was with a guy that was quite like dominant, and which is like right up my street, don't get me wrong, but like I could feel how uncomfortable he was, because it's like his type of sex is more kissing and hugging and, you know what I mean, like cuddling, and that's very much not the type
That
of
is the
sex.
opposite of what you
Pretty much,
like.
yeah.
Because I remember when you told me what you're into, it left me really,
No,
really
no,
confused.
it's not
I
that
mean, there
bad.
is no judgment around sexuality. I mean, tell
It's
me,
not like
like, do
I'm
you
getting
mind sharing what
fisted.
you're
Like,
I mean, what's wrong with fisting? Don't say it like that. We don't shame here.
no, I wouldn't be ashamed of it, but it's like it's not, like it's not that extreme. I just like to kind of like relinquish control. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
that's I don't know, maybe a psychological thing.
Which, do you know what? It makes me want to have a proper conversation with you. And I think in the way you and I are when we hang out or when we speak, we never ever get deep. You and I
Fair.
always end up in any situation laughing so much. And then when we're done laughing and talking about sex, often we end up playing board games. So I actually have so many questions about you that I'm hoping, at least in an environment like this, you can answer because you're a really like I have a lot of interesting friends. You are probably one of the most interesting people I've ever met. So, do you mind telling me about your childhood and your
Yeah,
upbringing? Because you were born in Brazil,
I
right?
was. So I was born in '85, had a very beautiful childhood until about like 6 years old. My mom had quite a few kind of like family issues back then. Like my granddad died, and then my uncle got murdered, and it's like a bunch of drama that mom was a bit distracted from the marriage itself. So my dad started cheating, and then my mom found out. They got divorced when I was 6 because of the cheating. We found ourselves in a situation that mom was very successful. She was a doctor, gynecologist, and we found ourselves in a situation that she could basically vent to us about our dad, right?
Eesh.
Which
About the cheating and everything.
exactly. So it's like the I
Oh,
grew
that is
up
so
like
bad.
my early teens was like thinking my dad was this monster because he like cheated on my mom, blah blah blah. Because I was only hearing one side of the story.
How do you think that affected you?
It did two things, right? Like it separated the person from the act, which is something that manifests itself in my sexuality now, very much so, right? Like the because it's like I was hearing about my dad fucking his secretary and a bunch of other women. It's like there's my dad who's a dad, and there's the guy who's fucking all these women. So right, so that detachment between like person and act, it's something that I practice now, right? Like the me getting fucked by a random
Mm.
guy doesn't mean that Gus, your friend Gus, is changing in any way because of that. And then another aspect was like how sex, like just a fuck when you're horny, can truly like destroy your life if it's done outside of pre-agreed parameters. So
Hence why you're keeping it separate from your husband now.
not that, but it's like the not about it being separate, but about it being communicated, right? So it's like I would say that 90% of, look at me throwing random statistics that I'm completely making up, but like I would say that like 90% of couples that break up, not, well, maybe less, but it's like they break up because of infidelity, right? So a lot of jealousy happens. Like I see lots of my friends that are in closed relationships, there's always someone that's like worried or paranoid, or it's like they broke up because so and so cheated. I don't have that worry. You know what I mean? Like it's quite freeing to not have the risk of, it's like, oh, I'll get drunk and I end up kissing someone or whatever. And then my relationship and my life that are both great are completely destroyed by it. Um,
Mm.
and don't get me wrong, I did lose a relationship because I cheated before. So it's not like I've been practicing this since I was 6 years old. But so I would say that it's like that breakup between my dad and my mom. Those are the two aspects of how I think they shaped me. Maybe I should
Mm.
discuss with my therapist.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because in a way you're sort of protecting your marriage from breaking up in the same way that your parents' did
Mm-hmm.
by removing the cheating aspect from it. That's
Mm-hmm.
always something that's almost like the worst thing that could happen, which is really odd because there's so many worse things that could happen. That's kind of
Absolutely.
an ultimate dishonesty. But if you're removing that from the equation, then you can focus on other things. But then most people can't, right? And most people aren't really able to remove all these complex emotions, i.e., jealousy, i.e.,
Yeah.
possessiveness, i.e., this societal kind of norm that's been honed into us. You know, you meet Prince Charming, you meet the princess, like in Disney, and they are everything. They will be the mother, the father to your children. They will be your best friend. They will be the person that makes you laugh, the person that picks you up,
Mm-hmm.
the person you have the best sex with. But then, I've been talking to some people who are in open relationships, and they are almost the only people who are acknowledging that it's too much expectation to have from one person.
Yeah.
How are you able to like manage this jealousy? How are you guys? I mean, I guess it's more from your husband's perspective because I know he also sometimes sleeps with
Yeah.
others, but it's mostly you. How do
It's
you guys manage this human kind of blocks?
I I used to be a very jealous person, not towards him, but to previous partners. I think it's he doesn't get jealous because he knows that for me means nothing, right? It really does mean nothing,
Emotionally.
emotionally speaking. So there's no like threat. And for him, the few times that he does it, he needs to like go have dinner with the guy first, and they have a drink, and they get to know each other, and then maybe he'll get a blowjob later. And I'm not like bothered by it. I think it's like the more sexual he is outside of our marriage, like it would turn me on to know that he's like having sex with other people. Like for me, it wouldn't bother me at all. And I I think that it's like, okay, if the only reason he's with me is because he hasn't had the exposure to other people, it's for me that's not good enough. You know what I mean? Like I want him to be with me
Mm.
because he has had exposure to whoever he chooses to expose himself to, and he
As like
still
a sexual
chooses me.
awakening.
Yeah, like the I would never kind of like prevent him from doing something if it's going for a dinner with a guy or whatever, out of like fear that he might fall in love with a guy. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of jealousy in most couples, and jealousy from me in the past, was kind of like fear of losing that person to someone else.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
but
How did you get over it then? Because you said you were really jealous before.
because I got the good end of the stick, right? So it's like I get to have sex with whoever I want. Uh,
Yeah.
so it kind of like distracts myself from it. And I do think I'm very confident in the relationship that I'm in.
Mm,
We talk about it a lot, that it's what would make us break up, right? So
mm,
and for me there's only two scenarios. One is like we wake up tomorrow and we just, oh my god, I don't love you anymore, which is a very real possibility, right? I do think that love is not forever. Um, or if one of us turns into a really bad person and there's a significant lack, like
mm,
break of trust that doesn't involve sex. I think that
mm,
it's like because one of my previous relationships ended because I cheated, I was always too scared about cheating again, because
mhm,
I'm either too horny or I've done a lot of stupid shit when I'm drunk. Imagine if I'm drunk and I end up shagging someone, and then you lose everything because of a drunken mistake. Uh,
mm.
it just really kind of like
And I
makes
guess
it
it's
all
also
much easier.
someone who you are. I mean, I remember, like, how many people would you say you've slept with?
Define slept with. Like,
Like, how many people would you say you've had sex with? Like, I don't know.
do
How
blowjobs
do you define
count?
sex? Okay, give me one with blowjobs, one without. There is a reason I'm asking this.
Okay. With like sex, as in like anal sex. Like low hundreds, maybe like 300.
Okay.
And like counting blowjobs is more than 1,000.
Okay. So you do the reason I asked this was just to kind of back up and remove the element of if it might sound like I'm being judgmental. I'm not. Like, you being sexually open and having a lot of sex and sexual encounters is very common for you. And I know that out of these numbers you gave me, some of them you've had multiple
Yeah.
relations with. So having a lot of sex is a big part of what you are, your sexuality, not your
Yes.
identity, but your sexuality. So in a way, you don't want to end up resenting the person you're with either. So by going open, not only are you removing that element of, losing them in
Hmm.
case of a drunken mistake, because this is something that is a part of how you like to express yourself sexually, but also to
To not lose myself.
not lose
That I
yourself
think
and not to resent them. That's what I was going to say. Not to
it's
resent them
that
for
is
suppressing a big part
that
of
is good,
what is
Sahar.
free to you.
That is good. I'm
Yeah.
gonna use that to explain it to more people in the future, because that is
Oh my
actually
god.
it's the first time I'm thinking from that perspective. But yeah, I am a
Ah,
slut because I don't want to lose myself.
because I was born a slut.
Yes. Yes. No, I
I
like
love
that.
that for you. Okay, so you mentioned a few times that you cheated before, and I know that you were with that guy for quite a few years. You guys were
Yeah.
living together and you had a whole life together. You broke up because you cheated. And I know that shortly after you actually met your current husband. Can you tell me how you guys met? How did it evolve into a relationship? And then how did it evolve into let's go open?
Yep. So the a bit of backstory on my previous ex that I cheated on. So he was the first guy I went on a date with, right? Like I had sex with quite a few people before I met him, but he's the first guy I went on a date with, and that turned into a 7-year relationship.
How old
Um,
were you when you first met him?
I was 23, was living in New
Hmm.
York City, and he became very successful in the middle of our relationship. So
Hmm.
he traveled a lot and he was working really long hours, and I mistook him being tired when he came back home. Like I thought it was lack of attention and interest. So I started
Mm.
cheating. Uh, and he found out, and of course we broke up, and he didn't deserve it, and I completely broke his heart. And it's like the pain of knowing you broke the heart of someone you love is horrific. Anyways, so that was 2014. I moved back to London. I only really had one relationship between him and my current husband.
Oh,
um
there was someone else. You never even
yeah,
mentioned
the
him.
straight guy, the one that's now
What?
married.
Married to a woman?
He was engaged to a woman when we started sleeping together, and then
Oh
he
God.
eventually came out to her, to everybody. We were a couple. I met his family, I met her, and then we were together for, I want to say, 2.5 years. Very toxic relationship. We used to fight a lot. Um,
How did you
and
even meet him? How did you even like end up meeting a
I met
married
him
man,
through
like in an
work.
engagement?
He worked for the same company, and it's like most of the guys that I sleep with are identify as straight, right? Like the so it's like the fact that I slept with someone that was engaged to a woman. It's not really that's special. Call me
Really?
a
Most of
home
the guys you
wrecker.
sleep with are labeling themselves straight,
Yes,
identify as straight. What?
yeah,
Why?
because it's like I know they'll never kind of like bother me outside of sex, right? So if they see me on the street, they'll be the first ones to cross the street. So it's very hassle free for me. It's like the whole psychological like thing of like, oh, it's a straight guy that it's just using me to have sex. I find it quite a turn on, right? Like it's a manly guy that it's like he's even like colder when it comes to sex than I am. The so it's
So it's both a kink and also a logistical calculation.
100%, yeah. So
How
it's
do you
like
find these people then?
grinder, like the grinder is littered with them.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was with that ex in between for like 2 years, blah blah blah, and then when we broke up for good,
I'm so sorry to interrupt. One other, I have to ask. Like, there is
yeah,
so many questions. I'm really trying to let you tell your story without injecting, but so many questions arise. You met his fiance that you essentially stole
yeah,
him from.
yeah,
How
and
how did that interaction go?
it was awkward as fuck, right? Like the
Like,
and to be
take
fair,
me
it's
with
like
you.
I met her when I was sleeping with him, and she didn't know they were still together. So that's the first time I met her. Uh, and then eventually he broke up with her, and we came out as a couple, and then he told her, and then I met her again, and she was lovely, lovely. But the interesting part of this whole story with this ex of mine is that after we broke up, he basically told the world that it was just a phase, and he got married to the same woman.
Stop it.
Yes, and they're
No.
together. Yeah, they're together. So he blocked me everywhere, and told the world he was a face, and got married to the same lady. And I wish them nothing but happiness. But like, anyways, and
I,
then
I have to I have to say this because you're a good person, right? Like,
yeah,
I love you, not just because you're hilarious and absurd and outrageous, but also because you're a very good person. So to hear that you slept with this guy, it's kind of like stealing somebody else's partner, which for me is a line I don't like crossing.
fair,
For me, it's kind of like I am judging you a little bit. And the fact that you sleep a lot with a lot of men who are in relationships, like how if you weren't who you are, if I didn't know how much of a good person you are and how driven by your conscience you are, I wouldn't have been as surprised. How do you what I'm trying to say is, Gus, how do you live with yourself doing that to other women? What's wrong with
that's
you?
that
How do you
is
live with yourself?
that is like I ask myself that a lot, because it's if you ask my husband what he loves about me, the first he's gonna give you a massive list. Of course he will, bless him. But like the first thing he's gonna say is that I'm principled, right? Like
Yeah.
uh, I really don't think the other woman, or you know what I mean, like the person who a person cheats with are to blame. Like I really
No,
don't.
they're
Do
not.
I
But
have
like
like?
considering the fact that your dad
eh,
cheated and
no,
that their marriage and like kind of
but that's my dad's
I
fault.
asked about your childhood and you said that you spoke about that. It obviously like kind of broke your family. Considering that happened to you, how do you feel that you're potentially doing the same?
I am not. Like my dad is the guy who's wrong, not the women he fucked. Right? It's not like I was going with the carrot at the end of the stick, going to straight guys and it's like, hey, come get a better blowjob than you get at home. But the like if they come to me, do I feel guilty? Absolutely not. Do I know they're the women? No. Right? Like the I would never, like one of the rules we have is not doing it with friends, and that includes like friends partners. It's like as long as I don't know who the woman is, oh I really I don't have a problem with it at all.
So how did you meet your husband after this guy?
So we met on Grinder. He was my neighbor. We were both living in London. So Grinder is like it lists by distance, right? To make it nice and convenient. And he was 7 meters away. So it's like, oh my god, this guy is in my house. The He actually invited himself over for sex. And I was too hungover to have sex, but we were like, you know what, let's go for a walk. And then we went for a walk, and it became very clear that we would become friends. And I don't have sex with friends, right?
Mm.
So we started hanging out every day. Our thing back then was like we were watching Gossip Girl all the time. Um, and maybe like a month into the friendship, I was like, oh, maybe I have feelings for this guy, right? Like he's very much my type, physically speaking. And then I was like, oh, I like this guy, so I invited him on a date. And then he came over. I cooked for him. It was lovely. Had a great time. And then after the date, we were watching TV, kind of like semi cuddling. You know what it's like. And then I'm like, he asked, should we talk about this? I was like, yeah, yeah, let's talk about this, thinking that he was going to say what happens to our friendship if we have sex tonight and like nothing goes from that. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's talk about it. And then he turns to me and says, I think you're great, but I'm not attracted to you. I was like, oh my
Eesh.
God. He's a very honest person as well, right? So I pretended everything was fine, broken inside because I was in love. Um, Told him, he's like, oh, that's fine, it's fine, don't worry about it. So we continued being friends. He was dating other people. I was having sex with a ton of people. And all through this next 6 months, I was completely in love. So I was like, this is the neighbor I love. Please don't tell him. And then 6 months later, he
That's so
was,
you.
yeah. So like 6 months later, I kind of got over it, right? Like the kind of no, like I was completely over it. I even told him that it's like, oh, I want to find a boyfriend because I do like being in a relationship. I want to find a boyfriend, but before I do, I want to sleep with another 100 people, right? And I kept like a tally, and that I used to discuss with him, right? So I was like, I'm not gonna go on a single date until I have sex with another 100 people. So I was counting.
Why? Why was that a
That was like
thing?
because I wanted to get out of my system, right? Like I didn't think open relationships could work for me back then, right?
Mhm.
Because
Why?
I had never had one before. I thought I would be very jealous. So I was like, I want to get it out of my system. I will sleep with 100 people. Once the 100 mark gets like reached, then I'll start dating and find myself a boyfriend. And
You're so robotic about it.
yes, like a spreadsheet. No, I didn't have a spreadsheet, but like I kept the numbers and I was discussing with my husband now. The So anyway, 6 months later, I was over it. I was being a slut. He was going to Mykonos by himself, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll come with you." Right? So we went to Mykonos, got drunk, and I got jealous because he was speaking to this random guy in the club. Surprised me the fact that I was jealous. So I told him, it's like, oh, I think we have a problem. I'm jealous. And then he's like, doesn't need to be a problem. Like, I fell in love with you, blah, 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 blah. So we kissed, and that was it. And because we were so close, There was no kind of like hooking up period, right? Like the this is it, we're boyfriends now, and it moved very quickly because we were so close to each other. And here we are 7 years later.
Tell me about the first time you guys had sex. Was it good?
It was great because it's very much my type, very much my type. And it's that's one of the heartbreaks of the fact that it's like now we're not having sex, right? Because
Okay.
it's we are very compatible when it comes to sex. He's like a complete top, I'm a complete bottom. He's hairy
Mhm.
all over, he has a great dick, you know what I mean? Like the it's
Mm.
sexually speaking, he ticks all the boxes. So it was great. I never really crossed my mind that we would end up having like an issue about sex, about not
When
having
did
sex.
you start having issues then?
It just became apparent maybe like 3 months in that I was initiating it all the time. And it just became very clear that like I quite like the transactional type of sex, right? The sex that it's like, okay, oh, fuck your personality, fuck anything about you. Like, let's just have sex. It wasn't the type of sex we were having. So I would say maybe like 3 months in, the penny dropped that it's like, ooh, maybe we are not super compatible. And then we opened it maybe what, 1.5 years into the relationship.
How did that come about? Like, tell me about when you first made the decision. And then I'm really curious about how that conversation actually went.
He went away for work, and I was horny, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep with someone else. He'll never know. And I stopped myself, thankfully, but like I got very close to cheating. So when he came back, I told him, right? I was like, oh, I almost cheated. And he's like, oh, it's normal for people to have desire for other people, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, no. Half of London has like my dick and my ass pictures, right? Like I got so close to cheating. And then he,
Sorry, 1 second. Just you don't do things half measured, do you?
no,
Half of
never.
London.
Pretty much, yeah, because it's like Grinder is very like it's a beautiful place, Sahar. Honestly, you should go undercover one day on Grinder.
I don't know. I've never been too into dick pics. Definitely not into
Oh,
ass
I
pics.
fucking love them. The so yeah, so
Ah.
it can be very like kind of, and bear in mind, I didn't have a face picture in my profile, right? Because it's like I was about to cheat. So yeah, so I told him that it wasn't like, oh, I thought about cheating. It's like I almost cheated. And
Mm.
then he's a very like mature, eloquent, and rational person, most importantly. And he was like, okay, if I don't want to lose you because our sex life is not great, let's find a way of like a compromise, right? So it was his
So
idea
he said
initially.
it. It was his
Yeah,
idea.
it was his idea.
Wow.
And I remember the first time I did it, and I remember like I was freaking the fuck out, and he was very calm and rational. And then I went, did my thing, came back, and I felt so guilty. Like honestly, the because not because of what I had done, but in my head I was like, oh, he's hurting. I was like, I didn't want to break his heart, and he was completely fine, right? Like he asked a couple questions, not like super specific ones, but it's like, oh, where's the guy from? And I was like, I have no idea where the guy was from. You know what I mean? Like the main rule is do not lie, right? So if he asks me
Mm.
anything, I tell him anything. Um, so we found a place that it's like I feel comfortable that I'm not hurting him, which is for me the most important thing. Um, it kind of works. We've been having for the past maybe like 6 months quite a lot of chats about let's not get too comfortable in the situation we're in because it's
I was gonna ask, like, have you just given up on wanting to have sex with each
that's
other?
we did for years, because it's like the longer it goes the more awkward in a way it becomes, right? Like the and I want to feel like desired, like the reason, like one
No,
of
I
the
get
reasons I
that.
like to fuck like straight guys is because I know they're with me just to fuck. and that's for me it's a turn on. So the so I need him to initiate it, but it's like it's been so long that it's too awkward. So for the past like
Mm.
maybe 6 months, we are chatting a lot more about it. It's like, okay, how do we fix it? Right? Like the are we gonna close the relationship? Absolutely not, because he will never be able to tick the box of like the anonymous random sex. Um, but it would save me a lot of time, and it would be great to have sex with my own husband.
Have you considered maybe seeing a sex therapist together? Because I don't know if I've told you, I've only just recently started seeing a sex therapist.
Oh,
I don't know if
nice.
it's gonna work or not. I'm still a bit like, let's see what happens.
With your
But
partner or
like,
by yourself?
not by myself for now,
Mm-hmm.
because I know, and you know, that I've got all these weird stuff
Mm-hmm.
with sex. So like, that is something I'm trying out. Have you guys considered it?
It's I've been pushing him to do it. So I found a new love for therapy recently. So I've been bugging him to do therapy, and one of the issues that would be addressed from his end would be the sex. And he's taking it
Mm,
a lot more seriously than I am, this sex thing, which is a very positive in our relationship, because like he's now searching for the perfect therapist that it's like an all encompassing therapist but with a focus on sex and LGBT issues, right? Because it's for him it's not only the fact that he hasn't had it for so long, because even when he meets random guys it's usually just for a blowjob, but it's not only the fact that he hasn't had it for so long, but he feels like he won't be able to satisfy me, right? Because it's like I'm a
mm.
lot more experienced and I do have a lot of sex. Um, so it's like fixing that perception for him. Um, so
So
even
he's open to it.
yeah, like the he said tomorrow night he has a call with a guy that specializes in this. So
And you have like this extraordinary capability of drawing a very defined line between like sex and your relationship.
mhm,
Between, for example, you said to me ages ago, and it's kind of stuck in my head, between having dinner with someone and having a deep conversation
mhm.
to fucking, as you call it. Can you tell me what the difference is for you and why it's so important for you to draw this clear distinction?
I get attached very quickly. Not saying that I would fall in love with someone, but it's like if I told my husband that it's I'm going for dinner with a guy after I had sex with him, my husband would be upset because he knows that that's one thing that he can fulfill, and that for me it's not the reason why we open a relationship. I don't need that.
Interesting.
Whereas for him it's different, right? Like the he needs to have a coffee or to have a drink or to go for dinner with a guy. And that doesn't bother me because it's his personality. That's the way that the open relationship manifests itself. I'm not
Mm.
sure how I would kind of react if he went to, let's say, New York for work and came back and said that it's like, oh, I fucked 8 guys. Because I would be like, okay, if all you want is a fuck, there's me right here. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's the line is different for both of us. The things that
Mm.
are okay for me are not okay for him, and the other way around.
Mm. Okay, I understand. So let's go back to your teenage life a little bit.
Yeah.
I love how this interview is like, "Rah." I love asking this question, and somehow sometimes this is a wrong question to ask. But like, when did you become aware that you're gay?
Oh, since forever. Forever.
But then you had girlfriends.
That was because I wanted to fit in, right? I didn't come out of the closet until I was 20, properly until I was 23 years old.
No.
Yeah. So I
I
wanted,
thought you came out a lot earlier.
no, like I was too scared of my dad finding out. So I had girls and girlfriends just to make the world believe, and maybe I would be one of those straight guys that have sex with men.
How did your dad find out then? Like, was
So
that
it
a
was
huge
really bad,
conversation?
Sahar. So he found out twice. Once I was 18. So a very kind of, for me, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal from the outside. So I'm going to start by saying this. When I was 14, I started sleeping with a guy who was 28. Um, and
Oh,
looking back, I don't feel like I was abused, but I do understand the repercussions of saying this. So
I mean, that's legally pedophilia.
yes. So, but I knew exactly what I was doing, blah 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 blah. And this is from 14 to 18. I was sleeping with this guy. He was from a different city, so we used to meet in my family's beach house. And I don't remember the first time how long we were there together. Probably like a weekend. And we used to do it at least maybe once every 6 weeks or so, between 14 and 18 years old. And this guy's like, he had a girlfriend, blah blah blah. He was an adult, right? Like, but we used to chat a lot. Maybe even say he was like my first love in a weird, twisted way. Like I genuinely like loved him. And then when I was 18, I went again to the beach house. We always met in the beach house. Um, and in the middle of the night, my dad thought I was going to the beach house so often to do drugs. Um, in that specific time, I don't remember what was the circumstances, but my dad's like, "Oh, maybe this weekend you don't go to the beach house." I was like, "No, I must go. I must go. I must go. I must go." And my dad drives to the beach house in the middle of the night, literally like 3 a.m., expecting to find me doing drugs, or throwing a big party or whatever. And he finds me in bed with this guy. Not fucking, thankfully. Bless you. The,
Thank you. That's my reaction to that. Oh God.
the
In the middle of the
no, no,
act.
no, no. Thankfully, we were sleeping, but it was
Okay.
very clear what was going on. And my dad loses his shit. This guy literally runs away from my beach house. My dad puts me in his car and we drive back to my hometown. All the while, he's like, "Oh, my friends always said that my son was a faggot, blah, 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 blah." It was really
Oh,
bad.
I'm sorry.
But at the time, I had a girlfriend, right? So over the next few weeks, I made my dad believe that it had just been a phase. I was like, "I'm just experimenting, blah, blah, blah." Fine. Done.
That must have been so hard though, hearing those hurtful things from your own dad. I
Oh,
know it's
wait, it
very
gets
common
worse.
for.
So, anyways, like, because I had a girlfriend that kind of like believed that it had just been a phase, time passes, I go to school, and go to university, blah, blah, move to New York. In New York, I find myself sexually. It was like a meat market. Uh, I was young and skinny and with an accent, and everybody wants to fuck a Brazilian guy. So I had more sex there than, oh my God, it was incredible. Um, so when
Do
I'm,
you know what? The way you speak about sex makes me want to have
oh,
sex. Like
it's,
you speak about it. So it's like describing a delicious meal.
it's
Every time I
so
speak to
good.
you, in a really strange, every time I speak to my gay friend Gus, I get horny. Like the way you speak about sex is just so more, you take away all of the gross things out of it.
Yeah, and sex is great. So I, before I was moving from New York to London, but I had a few weeks in Brazil. So I go back to Brazil. There was no grinder back then. This is 2008, I want to say. The only
You're
thing that there
old.
were was like online chat rooms. The and then again, I didn't know this, but my dad thought that his wife at the time, he remarried after my mom, was cheating on him. So he installed on the computer a keylogger. So basically, everything you type, it logs there, hoping to find her cheating. But no, it was me, a newfound slut, coming back from New York, going crazy in these online chat rooms. And if you're like sexting with strangers when you don't even have a picture, right? They can't trace it back to you. You go a bit extra hardcore then. Like you say, you say things you wouldn't even do in real life. As in like, oh, bring all your mates and come here and fuck me. And my dad read the entire thing.
Oh my god, I'm cringing so hard.
Oh,
Stop.
it was horrific. Horrific. Because there was nothing I could say that it's like, oh, it's not as bad as it sounds, because I had said that before. He's like, okay, you're like, I'm done, right? Like, we were going to see some family in Europe before I was moving to London. He didn't want any of the family to know. So he's like, we're still going to go on this holiday. I'm going to treat you like my son in front of everybody, but I'm done.
What does that mean? You are his son.
Well, back then he didn't want me to be his son anymore. So
Oh,
the
honey.
time we were in Europe was probably the hardest when it comes to kind of dealing with sexuality, because in front of people he was fucking lovely and we were sharing a hotel room and he wouldn't speak to me at all. So when he put me on a plane to go to London, we were in Portugal at the time. He just gave me this big wad of cash, and basically said, "This is your inheritance. Like, fuck off." And I kind of accepted the fact that I wouldn't have a relationship with that, but then didn't speak to him so for, I want to say, a year. Um, but then this his wife at the time, who by the way wasn't cheating, they ended up getting divorced. One of the reasons was because he didn't trust her, blah blah blah. But they continued being close friends until he died. She made him believe that, not believe, but see that I was still the same person. Uh, so maybe a year later, she convinces him to come visit me in London. I take him to the Tina Turner concert in London. And at the concert, he starts crying and he's like, I'm really sorry. Like, please forgive me. Please forgive me. And I did, right? Like, of course I did. And then since then, well, not since then, my dad passed, but like until he passed, everything was fine. He came to my wedding. Like, I took my ex to his both my exes to see him in Brazil. He came and stayed with us in Istanbul, blah blah blah. So everything was fine at the end. So long story short, that's how
You
my dad
said that
found
you
out
were trying
twice.
to. First of all, I must say, like, I'm so sorry that you went through that. That there is no excuse, and it's really sad to see that this is still continuing. This should never happen to anyone for being who they are, especially when it comes to what they like to do behind the closed doors in their bedrooms with their own body. So I'm really sorry you went through that. I'm really glad that your father was able to overlook his own limitations and to create this relationship with you. You said that you were really keen on keeping or pretending to be straight for years, even sleeping with women, which you told me you find disgusting, just so that you could have an easier life. Did things were things as bad, apart from your dad and his reaction, were things as bad as you feared they might be once you did come out and
Not at
fully
all.
w
Apart, my dad
wed
is
yourself?
the only negative reaction I've ever had. I never held it against him ever. Like, I was never angry at him. I feel like homophobia, and most times it comes from a lack of exposure, right? So I don't think that the world is becoming more accepting. I think that the people now, the adults now, they have had a doctor or a teacher or whoever that was gay, right? So someone that they looked up to. Like, I never had anything against my dad because of that. And that's the only bad reaction I've ever had. Because when my dad found out, for the second time, especially, I made the conscious decision to stop hiding, right? A few, maybe like 4 or 5 friends of mine already knew because I came out to them. I basically told people to stop hiding. If anybody asks, say it. If you want to tell to someone as gossip or whatever, feel free to do it. I just stopped hiding. Uh, and I had some friends from high school that were very like macho, and I expected like a really bad reaction, and everybody was lovely. So I consider myself to be very fortunate that the worst I've ever had was with someone close enough that I had a second chance.
Well, Gus, I want to talk to you for billions of hours more, but we've gone massively over time. I've got two last questions I want to ask you.
Okay.
After everything we've spoken about, and clearly there are elements to this open relationship that's has been working for you that you enjoy, but there are also clearly elements of it that you don't love as much. If you were to really, really dig deep, deep within, right? Considering everything, the good and the bad, is being in an open relationship, in a sexless marriage, actually working? Is it beneficial for your marriage?
Wouldn't say it's beneficial, as it's not like it's bringing anything extra to the marriage. It's keeping the marriage a marriage. It's how we deal with the cards that have been dealt to us. Um,
Is it working?
yes, I'm happy. We are happy.
Is it sustainable?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. I believe so. I really do believe so. It's not ideal, but we I'm hoping that with age I'll get less horny. So if anything, it's like uphill from here. I would say yes. It's not something that I would recommend to people because it's very dependent on everybody's different circumstances, right? So I will never tell anyone, "Oh my God, you guys should go in an open relationship." But for us,
Mm.
yes, I would say it's working.
And this is me being really black and white and really closed minded. And I'm still thinking, I haven't made a decision.
That's
The
fine.
thing that where I'm currently at is that it sometimes feels like going open while not addressing some of the more fundamental issues within your relationship sexually can perhaps be like a quick fix.
Yes, I completely agree. It is very. It started as very much of a quick fix, and that quick fix lasted for quite a few years. But because we are conscious of the fact that it was a quick fix, that we dragged it for a bit too long. Now we are a bit late to the party, but now we're trying to fix it. Like I said before, I wouldn't close the relationship again because it would just put unnecessary stress. Uh, and we have proven that we can deal with the jealousy and everything else that comes with it. But yeah, 100% it was a quick fix. We had the hopes back then that by opening it, not only I would have all the sex that I wanted, but it would make both of us more sexual with each other. And when we realized that wasn't happening, we didn't do anything to fix it until now. So that's what I would have done differently. But there is absolutely no regrets or second thoughts in my head about opening it to begin with.
Gus, I love you so much. Please come back to London and come live with us. I miss you.
I miss you too, mate. Come and visit for fuck's sakes.
I will do.
Are you gonna go have some
Thank
sex
you so
now
much for
or
today. I don't know. I mean, I spoke to this incredible sex toy engineer in one of our episodes, and she sent me my first ever dildo. So, I mean, that's
whoa.
sitting in my cupboard. I still haven't even opened it. So, I might go and read the manual.
Oh my
Who
god,
knows?
let me know if it's worth getting. I'm gonna go for a wank.
Are you actually?
Maybe, probably, yeah. It's
I mean, with your twice a day, it's about
I
time.
know. Though I've already done my quota today. This would be my third. It's a bonus.
Oh God, tell me less. As I'm sure you can clearly tell, as much as try to hide it, I am a little bit obsessed with my friend Gus. He is the best. He's hilarious. And I found that conversation very enlightening on my quest to kind of get my head around open relationships, how I feel about them. Do I think they work or not? I still truly see the value of open relationships, mostly because They seem to start from a place of honesty, communication, choice, freedom, respect. I really like all of those values, and I'm sure, um, well, it's not that I'm sure, I know for a fact that those are at least my baselines for a successful, good, loving relationship. Whether or not open relationships could be an answer to a sexless marriage, I don't think so after that conversation. Clearly, going open for them has worked, but has it fixed the fundamental problem of their lack of sexual intimacy? No. If anything, the quick fix sort of removed the tension and pressure from wanting to address it, and has allowed it to go on for so long that now revisiting them and trying to fix them has become a much bigger issue. So, can open relationships fix a sexless relationship? No. Can they work and be a good thing and help enhance relationship for some people? I think so. Thank you so much for being with us. We're on Instagram, on TikTok, and YouTube. We would love to hear your thoughts, any questions you have, your experiences, your input. Please do share them with us in the comment sections. Let's start a conversation about sex. If we're talking about sex, let's talk about sex. Well, thanks for listening. See you next time.